Hello and welcome to Sports Update on Trust TV. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. Just hours from now, we'll be knowing who is the CAF Player of the Year for men, for the women, the CAF Young Player of the Year for the women's category, and then the CAF Player of the Year, as in for men, and the young for the women. That is where we have Asisat Oshola in contention with Tembe Gatlana of South Africa and Barbara Banda of Zambia. And then for Osimhen, he will be contending with Mo Salah, Achraf Hakimi of Morocco and PSG, and Mo Salah of Liverpool and Egypt. Then for the CAF Young Player of the Year, we have Deborah Abiodun in there with a Yeboah and Echad of Morocco. Yeboah is of a Ghanaian team. You can see the picture of Barbara Banda in the women's category. On that note, I welcome you to the show Sports Update on Trust TV, and I have John Osho joining me again this evening to talk sports. We'll talk sports together, but we'll be looking at hours from now the CAF Awards will be going on right there in Marrakech, Morocco. So our expectations are high because we actually dominated this award this time around. John, welcome to Sports Update. All right, I don't know. I know your expectations are high for Victor Osimhen to actually at least pick this one this time around. The last time we actually had somebody who won the CAF Player of the Year for Nigeria was Nwankwo Kanu in 1999. Before then, we have Victor Ikpeba. But after then, no Nigerian player has won the CAF Player of the Year. So what are your expectations tonight in Marrakech, Morocco? That is where the event will be happening.
So I'm expecting Osimhen to win it, but it's going to be a tough one, right? There are three people on the list: Achraf Hakimi, Osimhen, and Mo Salah. Mo Salah, yes, had a good record, goals and assists, about 19 goals, 12 assists in the league last season and all, but he still did not win any title, so that's probably ruled him out. When you come to Osimhen, Osimhen won the Capo Cannoniere, that's the golden boots in the Italian Serie A, and then won the league for Napoli for the first time in 33 years. The last time they won it was when Maradona was there. You look at the impact of Osimhen in that team. And then Achraf Hakimi won the Ligue, and then his team, excuse me, which was Morocco, went as far as the semi-finals in the World Cup in December 2022. Tough one when you look at it. But the thing now is how important was Achraf Hakimi to Morocco's performance, excuse me, and then how important was he to PSG's performance? Right, if he wasn't in the PSG's team where he had 4 goals and 5 assists in the league, would they have won the league? No, wouldn't they? But for Victor Osimhen, it is certain and it is sure that without Victor Osimhen, Napoli wouldn't have won the league because he went on to, be the highest goal scorer and the best attacker in the league. While Kivica Kvaratskhelia was also, a top performer for the team as well. But it was just so obvious that Osimhen was the better, of all the players in the Italian Serie A. And now when you compare him to what the likes of Salah and Achraf Hakimi did for their clubs in the same time frame, I'm going to say Osimhen should win it. And if he doesn't win it, it mean that he must have been robbed, or he would have been robbed if he doesn't win it. And this is not me speaking as a Nigerian, but me speaking from a very objective perspective.
Yes, objective perspective, because a lot of persons says if Osimhen doesn't win it, then CAF have some questions to answer. Now, in the women's category, we have Asisat Oshola, who will be gunning for a record sixth time to win the CAF Awards after her performances with Barcelona Feminine when they won the Champions League last season. Now, do you think she has against Gatlana and Barbara Banda? Do you think she stands a chance of winning the 6th award right there in Marrakech tonight?
Yeah, when it comes to performances, right, Oshola plays for arguably the best women's team in Europe, and she's also a top performer for the team. Scores a lot of goals, whether she's starting or coming off the bench. Had injuries for a while last season, but was still able to be a top performer. Was in also among the world best players as well in terms of players of African heritage. She won the league with Barcelona as well, runaway league leaders. They blew everyone, on their way away really. And when you look at her performance and how she was consistent last season for the Barcelona team, you wouldn't be able to bring in Yeboah and Tembi Gatlana to say, okay, they also had fine performances, but neither of them played for Barcelona, which means neither of them played for clubs who performed as well as Barcelona did, and Oshola being one of the top players for the Barcelona women's team.
Okay, top player for Barcelona. And then for the CAF Young Player of the Year, that is for the women's category. We don't have for the men's side, the guys' side. We have Deborah Abiodun against El Chad of Morocco and then Yeboah of Ghana. And if you look at Deborah Abiodun's performance at the World Cup, and after that red card, at least her performance against Canada must have really given her edge over these two other players I just mentioned, who are also in the running for the CAF Young Player of the Year award for women. Now, do you think Deborah Abiodun left Rivers United to join Coach Randy Wardrum in Pittsburgh in United States of America, where she's also schooling and playing football at the same time? Now, what are her chances, from your own perspective, what are her chances in winning the CAF Young Player of the Year award for women?
Now, there's a reason why a young player like Deborah Abiodun, a teenager, would have been included in the World Cup squad for Nigeria and been taken to the World Cup, especially in her position, which is that's a very tricky position, a position where you most times will expect to see more experienced players, playing. And despite the record, which happens to even the very best of players, we have the likes of Sergio Ramos, Casemiro, and so on, having, usually being sent off, and you don't see people beating them up for that, as long as they consistently perform. So for Deborah Abiodun, she did well in the league. That's the reason why she's in the US. And then she did well at the World Cup, bar the red card. And the World Cup is the biggest stage for football generally. And if you compare her to all that's on the list in terms of consistency and representing your country and your club, Deborah Abiodun should take it for me.
Deborah Abiodun should take this one. And let's look at the goalkeeper of the year. We have our own Chiamaka Nadozie right there against another Ghanaian counterpart who play. Okay, let me say luckily or unfortunately, she's with Rivers Angels of Nigeria, a Ghanaian, and these other goalkeeper in there. Now, if you look at Chiamaka Nadozie performances in the World Cup and for our club Paris FC, from my own opinion, they should just announce Chiamaka Nadozie. There's no need of let's look at this, or just say the goalkeeper of the year for the women, Chiamaka Nadozie. I don't know if you share that, if you also share that same opinion with me.
Yes, I share the same opinion, right? I think for me, she even has a stronger case than Osimhen. When you look at Chiamaka Nadozie and how good she has been, she plays for Paris FC and then for the Super Falcons. You look at her performance at the World Cup. You move that aside. You look at her performance in the league for Paris FC. And then so far this season, also look at her performance. Now, I saw the game against Chelsea in the Champions League. Chelsea won the game, but it was because it was Chiamaka Nadozie that the scoreline was a bit respectful. She made some point-blank saves that, are reminiscent of, people usually sometimes mock female goalkeepers and say they're not as good as male goalkeepers, they're letting some easy goals and the likes. She makes some saves that will let you know that this girl is not a fluke. This girl is really good at what she does. Let's not forget that in the qualifiers for the Champions League, she was the one who saved penalties that saved the team, and they knocked out Arsenal women. Arsenal women who are so good that they beat Chelsea women in just yesterday, was the 4-1. So that's how good Chiamaka Nadozie has been and how consistent she has been so far. That she has not just done well in the club side alone, she has also performed on the world stage. That's at the World Cup.
Okay, and then lastly, well, we also have another. Okay, he's not in Nigeria, but he's with Nigeria. That is Coach Randy Wardrum against Desire Ellis. That's for the Coach of the Year for the women's side. If you look at Desire Ellis of South Africa and Coach Randy Wardrum, who should pick this one?
It's an interesting one, right? There's always that bias towards the Nigerian person, assuming bias, but this is not a case of bias. When you look at Wardrum and what he did at the World Cup, Nigeria was so good at the World Cup that us being knocked out felt like we were cheated. Oh, things didn't work out well for us. Things just didn't start out well. That's the reason why we were knocked out of the World Cup. We were able to, upset some world beaters, some teams who were considered to be way above us, I mean, the rankings, and also in terms of reputation. So for Wardrum to have done what he did at the World Cup is always the biggest, especially for women's football, right? And for what he did at the World Cup, I don't even know how to explain it or how to put it. But you look at that and you're like, okay, yeah, this is an easy thing. Wardrum should just get the nod.
All right, the World Drum should just get the known, and NFF needs to tell us who's the Super Falcons coach, and you need to give Randy World Drum his contract or probably get another person. But just hours from now, that award will be coming up in Marrakech, Morocco, and we wish Chiamaka Nadozie, Asisa Toshola, Victor Osimhen, Deborah Abiodun, Coach Randy World Drum the best of luck. At the end of the day, let's see who they will name the CAF Player of the Year for men, the CAF Player of the Year for women. That is Asisa Toshola is there, going for the record 6th time. And for Victor Osimhen, this is the first time since 1999 that we'll have another Nigerian contesting to win the CAF Player of the Year award. Okay, let's see how that goes. Few hours from now, like I said, that award will be happening in Marrakech, Morocco. All right, we'll still come back to that in course of the show. Let's quickly go away from that and talk about the NFF, where they have confirmed that the Super Eagles will participate in the Three Nations tournament in Abu Dhabi, and that is where they will camp prior to the Nations Cup that will be coming up next year in Cote d'Ivoire. We just have a few weeks away from now. Let me just say 3 weeks to the Nations Cup in Cote d'Ivoire. And now we'll be playing against Burkina Faso and DR Congo in that Three Nations tournament in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. What's your take? Is that a suitable place for the Super Eagles to camp? And probably what are our chances in the Nations Cup?
The Abu Dhabi hot weather, not a bad option when you look at it, because the players will be able to still acclimatize. These are players coming from Europe, majorly coming from Europe. And Europe currently it's winter season, and they will need to play in a hot environment to kind of acclimatize to the kind of environment they're going to be getting when they come to Cote d'Ivoire, which is in West Africa, which is also hot. Even though it's Hamatan season, it's still hot when you compare it to what's going on in Europe. And for those who are not in Europe, in other parts, but those who are way above, the equator. And as it is right now for the Super Eagles, we have an issue with our midfield, with our defense, no consistency. Then goalkeeping department, a very big problem as well. I just feel that the coach will need to be very smart in their decisions. Probably take a bold decision, come to the Nigerian League, pick a goalkeeper in the Nigerian League. We have two goalkeepers who are performing very well. Pick one of them, or even pick two of them, and drop two of the foreign guys who have not given any reason to be picked. But in the attacking department, that's where we have a rich, a wealth of players. We have the likes of Victor Boniface, who is the most informed, arguably the most informed African player currently, right? Mo Salah could make a case for that as well. But Victor Boniface, winning Rookie of the Month in the German Bundesliga 4 times on the bounce, fantastic player. And then we can talk about Victor Osimhen, who is obviously our best player at the moment. We can talk about Taiwo Awoniyi, hopefully he stays on form. Sadiq Umar has picked up form at just the right time, scoring some very spectacular goals of recent. Ademola Lookman, the man for the big games, a brace against AC Milan at the weekend. Another player, Moses Daddy Simon. And then when you look at Kelechi Iheanacho on form for Leicester City, then maybe just in Mayfield, we might just be lucky right now, because the likes of Onyeka beginning to get playing time. Ndidi's, having a fantastic time at Leicester City, has picked up form. I hope he stays fit. Alex will be as well, stepping it up as well. But I cannot say the same for Joe Aribo, who has not been in fine form recently. I'm hoping that the Super Eagles can get it right. This is the time. We have the players. Actually, in terms of attackers, we have the best attackers, in Africa as far as players on paper are concerned, and in world football as well. Probably some of the best attackers as well.
Okay, we have some of the best attackers, like you mentioned, in the midfield. Thank God Wilfred Ndidi is back. He was able to get one of the goals over the weekend for Leicester City. And then Joe Aribo, that's where the question is. I don't know why Coach Pissarro still calls up Joe Aribo. Is a good player, but he just needs to come back to form so that he can get back to the Super Eagles. But, well, I'm not the coach, Jose Pizarro, but let's look at it this way. Do you think Pizarro can change our fortunes and win us a record fourth AFCON title? Straight up, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. You say yes. Let's see how Jose Pizarro is going to do it. He had a meeting, NFF himself and NFF officials with the minister. That is the course of last week. They discussed a lot about the AFCON, and there's a mantra out there: let's do it again, and let's see if the Super Eagles can do it again and win us a record fourth AFCON title. All right, let's leave the Super Eagles quickly. Let's come back home. Let's look at the second tier league in Nigeria, that is the NNL. They say it's the most important league in the land. Let's just look at the table. We have Conference A, B, C, and D. Let's look how the table is. We have in Conference A, Madiba FC, who got a win over the weekend with 10 points and plus 5 goals. We have 1472 FC of Lagos with 8 points, who are second. We have Beyond Limits third with 7 points. We have Smart City on the fourth position with 7 points. Rovers FC of Calabar is on the fifth position with 7 points. We have Ekiti United FC, who are on the sixth position with 6 points. We have Dakada FC on the seventh position with 5 points, and Adel FC is on the eighth position with 4 points, and Vendraza FC is on the eighth position, on the ninth position with 4 points. And then if you look at Coal City FC, Stormers FC, and then Abia Comets, they are the last three teams at the bottom of the table with the red sign. And then in Group B, we have Crown FC on the top with 9 points, and Osun United is second with 7 points. Giant Brillas of Kaduna is on the third position with 6 points. We have Warri Wolves on the fourth position with 6 points and plus 2 goal difference. Solution FC is on the fifth position with 6 points. And then we have FC1 Rocket, we have Trade Safe FC, and International Lagos FC at the bottom of the table with the red sign. Let's go to Conference B quickly. Let's look at Conference B. Let's see how teams are standing there. If you look at Conference B, Academy Warriors of Maiduguri is on the top of Conference C with 7 points. Same points with Nasarawa United, who have 7 points, though Nasarawa United have played more games than Academy, who has played 3. Both of them have 7 points, and they occupy first and second. Wiki Tourists of Bauchi is on the top position with 6 points, and we have ABS of Ilorin on the fourth position with 6 points, and Mighty Jets FC of Jos is on the fifth position with 5 points, and we have Zamfara United FC, NAFS FC of Abuja, and Yobe Desert Strikers, Yobe Desert Stars, I beg your pardon, on the last position with just 2 points. And then in Conference D, we have Sporting Supreme FC of Abuja, 10 points. They are the top. Sokoto United FC is on the second position with 9 points. And we have Melentaki FC of Abuja, who has 4 points. City FC of Abuja also have 3 points. And we have Malum Fashi FC of Katsina stayed on the 8th position, occupying the bottom with 0 points after 3 games. All right, let's leave that and go straight to Europe in the German Bundesliga. It was another fantastic day in the office for Victor Boniface, though he didn't get the goal, but they were able to play draw in the German Bundesliga. And for Bayern Munich, they were whooped, they were wiped, they were humiliated by Eintracht Frankfurt. 4-1 it ended. It's not a good one for Thomas Tuchel and Hurricane and other players in that team. Let's look at the table is standing for Bayer Leverkusen. They still continue with that with their dominance in Europe this season, having been the only team who has not lost any game in Europe top 5 league. All right, they are at the top of the table with 36 points. Bayer Leverkusen, Bayern Munich follow with 32 points. VfB Stuttgart on the third position with 31 points. Leipzig on the fourth position with 29 points. Dortmund is on the fifth position with 25 points. We have Hoffenheim on the sixth position with 23 points, and Frankfurt 7th. Frankfurt beat Bayern Munich 4-1, like I said, have 21 points. Freiburg is on the 8th position with 21 points, and Augsburg is on the 5-1. Okay, 5-1. That is for the game between Frankfurt and Bayern Munich. We have Augsburg on the 9th position with 17 points, and Mönchengladbach is on the 10th position with 16 points. We just have 18 teams standing in the German Bundesliga. Let's look at the last team on the table in the German Bundesliga. The 18th team is just 18th team, not like the English Premier League where you have 20 teams. All right, we have Darmstadt 98 on the 18th position with 9 points and minus 20 goal difference. They have actually conceded a lot of goals than any other team in the league. All right, John, quickly, for Bayer Leverkusen, I just want to talk about Victor Boniface and Bayer Leverkusen and Xabi Alonso. This team has not lost any game, either in the league or in European competition. They play in the Europa League. They've not lost any game. Their dominance this season continue. The only team in Europe not to have lost any game so far.
Yeah, that's a fantastic team if you look at it, right? For Leverkusen and for Xabi Alonso, when he came in last season, he was able to change their fortunes and he got them to qualify for the Europa League. And now this season has started. So far, so good. One of the games where they were expected to have lost because they were going to be playing against a Giants, which was the game against Bayern Munich in the league. They played a 1-1 draw, and beyond that, they've not particularly looked like they're not serious contenders for the league and even the Europa League. They know what they want to do and they know what their coach expects from them, and they've been able to do that. Xabi Alonso has employed he's a fullbacks as right wing back, wing back and left wing back to always, attack. They're always on the attack because they have the three centre backs who are able to cover up for them. And they've been able to contribute a lot to the goals and assists so far this season. And then I think they also have the form of Victor Boniface to thank for that as well, because that man has about 20 goals contribution in the 20 games that he has played for them. He's able to give them a separate, a different kind of dimension, in how they play their games and how they grind out results. And in games where they struggle, sometimes he's been able to drag them out of the mud and to give them the much needed points that they need, either 3 points in situations where they need to get 3 points, and sometimes scoring equalizing goals for them in situations where they need to get 1 point. And at this rate, and with Bayern Munich not particularly being doing very well this season, we are expecting I'm expecting that Leverkusen might just go on to shock. Might just win the league this season.
Yeah, they might just win the league this season. All right, let's leave the German Bundesliga quickly. Let's look at the French Ligue 1. PSG actually had to win that game and extend their lead at the top of the table. Let's just look at the result and then the first side of the French Ligue 1 table. Let's look at the first top 1 to 10 and let's look at it. Let's look at Ligue 1 table and see how teams. But for PSG, I think they've extended their stay at the top of the French Ligue 1, and one man is to thank for that. That is Kylian Mbappe, who is not happy playing for PSG. But at the end of the day, let's see if he's going to leave. Okay, PSG stay at the top with 36 points, having opened a 4-point gap between them and Nice. Monaco is in the third position with 30 points. Lille, fourth position with 27 points. Strasbourg is on the 10th position with 17 points. And Nantes is on the 9th position with 18 points. Now, for Nantes, they lost to PSG 2-1.
Yeah, that's where our very own Moses Simon, plays. But looking at the top of the table, I would say surprises have been Nice and Monaco so far. For Monaco, they are trying to go back to the old days, the days when at least they were respected to an extent. And let's not forget when Falcao, Mbappe, Bakayoko, and so on, took the world by storm. Fabinho as well. They went on to win the league. Mbappe was 17 years at the time. And currently, PSG, despite their up and down form, have been able to maintain their lead at the top, 4-point lead over Nice, who, like I said, have surprised. They've really surprised me this season, and they are overachievers so far. If they can maintain this, then it means that they'll be coming to Champions League next year, which is more money for them, and which also means that they can go into the market, buy better players, compete, at the top level against the very top teams. For PSG, as long as they continue at this rate, we all know they usually end up winning the league more often than not.
Okay, more often that time will not permit us to bring you the Italian Serie A, but just to let you know that Inter Milan still remain at the top of the table, and for Napoli, they lost their game over the weekend to Juventus, and it was not a good one for Osimhen, but tonight, few hours from now, Osimhen should be smiling with the CAF award. All right, that is where we leave it on Sports Update. John, thanks for joining me on the show this evening. It's a wonderful one having you here with me on the show. All right, that is it on Sports Update. I am Emmanuel Fashemi saying thanks for watching.